Welcome to the Musgo Secret Files. How's it going? I was stealing some information from other podcasts and I saw this telepathy thing and I thought it was interesting. So basically, it's the parents of some autistic kids are claiming that their kids can read their minds. And there's like this thing called the telepathy tapes. I didn't see it. I thought it was kind of obnoxious, especially the piano music. Is like, stop with the fucking piano music. It's like it's not necessary to try to get people over emotional. So as soon as I heard the piano, I was like, I'm just gonna get information from somewhere else. The source, trust me, bro. I'm not sure if it's true, but I just thought I could bring some interesting analysis. And here I go. So there's this girl from Mexico called Mia, which sounds like a totally non-Mexican name, but lately the Mexico's using like other names that are not like traditional Mexican names, maybe. So her mother was claiming, so they take her to the U.S. and they put like a barrier between the mother and the daughter, and she was accurate like 95% of the times. Like the mother was reading and seeing colors, and the girl knew what the mother was thinking, and the doctors were amazed. So maybe it's true, maybe it's just a fraud, like another KFC commercial. Like it was just like, I don't know, you never know these days, right? And it made me think of like experiences that I have had with telepathy. And to be honest, I haven't been like able like to see something, but in a way I have. Sometimes I feel like, and I don't feel, I kind of know that I'm looking to the person's soul. And it happens a lot through the eyes. There is so much that you can see in the eyes. And it's not coincidence that they call it the window to the soul. And yes, like they can be lying, but you know in their eyes there's something different. It's like if you could stare at their soul. And yes, so I thought that was maybe kind of like a soft telepathy, and I think this is one of the reasons why people don't want to interact physically or even on the telephone. They just want to text because they're afraid of other people knowing what is really going on. And yes, the voice is another way of reading the mind, because when you're talking with someone on the phone, you can sense sadness really fast. I'm really good at sensing when they're trying to control me, and without them telling you, you know what is really going on. Like every like not caring, or like being angry because you're saying no, and even if they're saying it doesn't matter, like you can tell what's going on. So maybe that's something. The other one is when, for example, your mother knows that you're going through a hard thing and she calls you, and people is like, how does she know? I know twins, and they tell me that there's a strong connection and they can kind of telepathically know some stuff about it. So I think it's an interesting thing. And the other thing is that it might be a spiritual connection to all of this. And modern science, it's weird because it goes through this really esoteric thing to prove it's non-spiritual. Like, it's just non-spiritual. Like, every time they see like flying objects, I remember it was like they hire an expert and it's like it's just this phenomena, like volcanoes. Like, it's always the spiritual fantasy thing. It's everything but that. And they can say the exact same thing, but it just has to be branded on non-spiritual. And maybe one of the things that are going on is the spirit telling you, because the spirit doesn't have a body and knows. And maybe this girl has a spirit telling her what's going on. So I don't know, I thought it was interesting. The other thing that I find interesting is, from what I understand from God, is I think he can absolutely see our hearts and our minds. So you might as well be honest. Like, there's nothing you can hide. And I think that's a really good thing. Like, just to be yourself, and you can't hide it anyway. And that gives me like a lot of freedom because I feel that I can be me because there's no other option. And it brings me to the question of, can demons see what you're thinking? And on my experience, I think demons can put thoughts in your mind silently, especially with people that are suicidal. I've spoken. I have a friend, and this friend tried to commit suicide, and was explaining to me that constantly there were these voices. They're not audible, but they were telling this person to kill. I don't want to say the pronoun, but yeah, like kill yourself, and so it wouldn't be far fetched to think that they can see what you're thinking. I hope not, but yeah, interesting, right? So yes, telepathy. What do you guys think? You think it's a fraud? You think it's there's many explanations. A lot of people think like this is a new evolution, but I think it's been there for a long time. And yeah, is it just like this advanced way of reading other people, or a connection between souls? Yeah, it honestly hasn't been a topic that really calls my attention very much. And the last question that I think it's interesting, how can we use it? Is there like a practical way to use it? I guess the best one would be to know what's in other people's hearts, right? So the mothers said that they can't hide anything from their kids. They're autistic, nonverbal kids. Like, the kids know where she stored the candy, even though she says there's no candy. So that would be nice, like, to. That would kind of erase all dishonesty. But it also would be very uncomfortable, right? Like, there's thoughts that I don't want other people to know. But maybe it's. And I think this goes to a darker place because there's a lot of people that want to know what's in your mind, because that means power, and that means, yeah, it sounds like a nightmare, right? Like, it sounds like a really good thing if everyone was super nice, but if there's like people trying to control you and like use that on their advantage, it sounds like a total lack of freedom. And 1984 total surveillance, like beyond anything, like seeing what you're thinking. So yes, hope you enjoy it. Have a nice new year. Happy New Year vibe.